framework of the Africa Union Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. A, improving efficiency by improving efficiency, transparency, and accountability in addressing inequalities, and equally by improving sector funding within the functions of water resources management and water supply, sanitation, and hygiene services provision. A key element of this is to integrate the agenda for water, sanitation, and hygiene and climate action. B, strengthening and institutionalizing monitoring, evaluation, and reporting mechanisms that support evidence-based decision-making. C, formulate the post-2025 Africa Water Vision, ensuring alignment with the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda and the Africa Union Agenda 2063 in the pursuit of aspirations for a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development. C, we resolve to undertake the following actions. Under water governance, and specifically policy, legal, and regulatory environments, to strengthen policy, legal, and regulatory environments by ensuring context specificity and intra- and intersectoral coherency, as well as upholding the principles of universal social inclusion and equity. On the aspect of stakeholder engagement, enjoin governments to raise the profile of social accountability and transparency. It is vital to recognize women and youth as agents for the planning and implementation of the water, sanitation, and hygiene agenda in Africa. It is imperative to develop the requisite human resources capacity, especially among the women and youth, for sustainable services delivery. On finance, call on governments and the private sector to significantly increase investments in climate resilient and inclusive water and sanitation infrastructure. The continued support of development banks and partners will be a critical enabler. We call on governments to recommit to both A, the Pan-African commitment to allocate at least 5% of budgets for water and sanitation, and B, the Itequini commitments to establish public sector budget allocations of a minimum of 0.5% of GDP for sanitation and hygiene programs. On water supply, sanitation, and hygiene services, we call on governments to seize the opportunity of heightened awareness of ensuring water availability and improved sanitation and hygiene services provision to keep up the fight against COVID-19, bring down the overall disease burden, and prevent future pandemics. It is imperative that pandemic preparedness and response capabilities are strengthened and the profile of sanitation and hygiene is raised. We call on governments and stakeholders to address the challenges faced to access reliable and complete data in the water and sanitation sector, especially on hygiene. There is a need to rethink how data on hygiene practices is captured and utilized to inform decision-making and improve sanitation and hygiene programming and services delivery. Under the sub-theme on water for governance and economic development, encourage governments and relevant partners to prioritize water management and services provision as essential ingredients for poverty eradication, poverty alleviation, and inclusive socio-economic development. Prioritize groundwater resources management as a key element of water resources development, utilization, and management. Well-functioning monitoring, assessment, and management systems are required to ensure sustainable use of the resources. Our 13.3, mobilize groundwater networks, actors, and institutions towards a common, harmonized, and evidence-based approach to sustainable groundwater use and management in the furtherance of the Africa Water Vision and the Africa Union Agenda 2063. 14, on water quality and wastewater management. 14.1, strengthen legal, policy, and institutional frameworks for the collection and treatment of waste, both solid and wastewater, to a minimum quality standard before reuse or safe disposal. 14.2, incentivize the private sector to play an active role in enhancing the use of wastewater and sludge as appropriate and acceptable in agriculture and other sectors. 14.3, standardize regulations for wastewater treatment, environmental flows, and water quality management in Africa, with particular reference to 14.3.1, arresting and reversing plastic pollution on surface water bodies. 14.3.2, preventing groundwater contamination due to unsafe solid waste and wastewater disposal to the environment. 15, on the sub-theme of climate change and resilience. 15.1, call attention to the recently published IPCC 6th Assessment Report of 2021 and the relevant priorities of the Glasgow Climate Pact, including 15.1.1, integrating water and climate through adaptation and resilience planning at national and regional levels. 15.1.2, promoting and financing global water monitoring systems to provide timely information about current and future water availability. 15.1.3, promoting a proactive approach to flood and drought management centered on the pillars of monitoring, forecasting, and early warning, vulnerability and impact assessment and preparedness, mitigation and response. 16, on the sub-theme of monitoring, learning, knowledge management, and capacity development. 16.1, prioritize investment for monitoring, evaluation, knowledge and information management, and learning to consolidate evidence-based and timely decision-making at all levels. 16.2, encourage African governments to foster research and application of knowledge and innovations to inform sector interventions targeted at improving water management and water and sanitation services provision. Honorable, Your Excellency, and honorable ministers here present, these are the resolutions that have emerged from the 77 sessions conducted so far at the Africa Water and Sanitation Week of 2021. Back to you, the moderator. And
thank you, Executive Secretary AMCAL, Dr. Rashid Bazira. Can participants turn on their cameras just for a while? Thank you very much. As again, hand over the deliberations to the AMCAL Vice President for the Southern African region, the Honorable Cecilia Chamutota, representing the AMCAL President, to now invite the ministers, especially the AMCAL Vice Presidents, to make their input and throw open the floor to other ministers to contribute.
Thank you very much to the moderator and also to the Secretariat, Dr. Rashid, for this eloquent reading. I'll got here the list of Your Excellencies, the Vice President.
Next on the agenda is, with the kind permission of the Honorable Minister for Mozambique and AMCAL Vice President, may I request the Honorable Minister for Tanzania, if he's available, Juma Aweso, the VP for East Africa, to please comment.
Yes, we may proceed. I was to read the list of the Honorable Minister that will proceed the intervention. So
if the Honorable Minister for representing the Honorable Minister and Vice President for, I don't know if Host 1000 represents the person, then please talk. For Tanzania or Ethiopia, I will then move and welcome the representing the Honorable Minister for Water Resources, Republic of Nigeria, Engineer Danju Mamadaki, to please speak as the Vice President for Western African region. Do we still have Engineer Madaki on? Engineer
Hello?
Madaki?
Yes, please. Hello? Hello?
Did you mute them all?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, sir. We can hear you. This is Mutazu from Zimbabwe. At least I can hear you from where I am. Thank you.
Okay. Good
No.
afternoon, everybody. My name is Engineer Madaki, and I'm standing in for the Minister of Water.
Honorable Minister, I understand you're trying to communicate, but we can't hear you. I think you're muted.
Okay.
Did you mute them all?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, from Harare, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, like I said, my name is Engineer Madaki, the Director of Water Supply, Federal Minister of Water Resources, Nigeria. I am standing in for the Honorable Minister of Water Resources, Engineer Suleiman Adamu, who is unavoidably absent. He is away on official engagement outside his station. So I welcome you all. And I'm happy to be here with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative of Honorable Minister. May I invite now the Vice President, Southern Africa.
Thank you. I don't know if you can hear us now.
Yes, we can hear you, madam.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I was trying to speak, then I had the feedback that you were not able to hear me. So we may continue with to invite the Vice President as well as the ministers from AMCO to make their interventions regarding to the reading that we had from the Secretariat. So may we call now Your Excellency Sergio Zoniaba from the Republic of Congo. We give this time to the Republic of Congo. If you are present, you may take the floor. We can't hear him, so we will go to Tanzania. Or maybe the Secretariat would advise us, how do we proceed?
Your Excellency, the original indication was that all the list of the ministers available had were connected, but I think we are facing a bit of a technical challenge, so we can just go through the list. Whichever minister is available can continue, and then we can try to catch up with the others that are not available at the moment.
Thank you for this indication. So we would like to invite the present honorable ministers who are present in this section, who want to put their statements about this document to take the floor. I saw Dr. Peter, he was with a raised hand. I don't know if you want to be the first one talking. Peter Mao.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Representing AMCA President. The resolutions are clearly spelled out, and I just had wanted to see the separate commitment for sanitation and hygiene, a separate commitment on sanitation and hygiene, not together to be with water. This is what I want as a clarification.
Estamos a tomar nota das pessoas que querem falar. Thank you. May you please repeat the question?
Yes, Honorable Representing AMCA President, I seek your clarification on the separation between the sanitation and hygiene from water.
Thank you. We have taken note of the contribution. We would like now to call to talk someone who's identified as host 1000.
Madam, thank you very much. I'm not sure. Yes, I realize I'm host 1000. I think I failed to change the name of the participant, but my name is Engineer Tinaye Shemtazu. I am ordinarily Chief Director, Water Resources, Irrigation Development, and National Wash Coordination in Zimbabwe. But today I sit on behalf of the Honorable Minister for Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, Water, and Rural Development in Zimbabwe. His name is Honorable A.J. Masuka. Just to comment that the resolutions made out of this 77th meeting of ours are clear and very clear, I must say, and I want to commend both the participants and the Secretariat in particular in putting them out this loud and clear. I just wanted to input a little bit on 11.3 on finance, where we are being called upon as governments and the private sector to significantly increase investment in climate resilient and inclusive water and sanitation infrastructure. I would have loved to see a bit more talk in the same context of finance, something talking to the need for national governments to leverage on climate finances. And I'm here thinking about Green Climate Fund, for example, Global Environment Fund, and such funds which have kind of become one way of supporting our national development strategies, and in particular, our commitments that we are making as nations under the green climate, under the climate management system. I thank you. I submit, Chair. Bye.
Thank you very much for your contributions. We would like now to invite to take the floor Bobby Whitefield, Dr. Bobby Whitefield.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I hope my volume is made clear today. And thanks to the Secretariat for putting such a brilliant resolution together. My name is Ambassador Bobby Whitfield, and I'm the head of the WASH sector here in Liberia. I also represent the Minister of Finance and the Minister of Public Works, who have got a portfolio to do with WASH in Liberia on this forum. Look, my observation on the resolution is I think we've got to be strategic, we've got to be deliberate and decisive. One key element that is missing in the resolution is the establishment of WASH, or what we call the Water Resource Ministry, Water and Sanitation Ministry for all African countries, all African governments. I think maybe the crafter assumed that this is a common practice across Africa, but there's a lot of African countries, including mine, Liberia, that don't have a dedicated water ministry. In the absence of a dedicated water ministry, tracking progress is difficult. The fragmentation is going to exist, and we're just going to be going around and around in circles and nobody claims responsibility. So there should be a dedicated stand-alone ministry for water, sanitation, and hygiene. That should be included in the resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your contributions. I would like now to call Your Excellency Dr. Tinayeshe Mutenda. Oh, so sorry if I didn't pronounce well your name.
No, in fact, I must apologize. I've already spoken, and let me put down my hand. My sincere apologies. I was the 1,000 who spoke earlier on. Thank you.
Thank you. So do we have Honorable Minister Dikelek Magazi from South Africa? No, I think I didn't see well. Do we have more hands rising? May the moderator help me, please, to see if we have another hand.
Madam Chair, I see a hand from Peter Mahal, unless it is an error of forgetting to put down the hand like I done. Thank you.
Yes, I am back, Honorable President of AMCAO. In fact, we have benefited from the declarations that were made in Durban and later on in Dakar, Senegal, of which Kenya took the lead to adopt having a ministry dedicated for water, sanitation, and hygiene. And I do concur with Ambassador Bobby that this is a real issue. If we have a fragmented institutions, there will be no progress. So we should take the example of Kenya, and I'm seconding that commitment to be included. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. We appreciate your contributions. I would like now to call Honorable Minister Chidi Mlawa from Botswana.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and let me greet you all this afternoon. Maybe let me first start by correcting that I'm not the Honorable Minister. I'm the Deputy Permanent Secretary responsible for water and sanitation. I'm representing the Minister, Kifenza Muzunila. My intervention is really a short one on Resolution 11.3, which deals with finances. I believe, or we believe that yes, it's sound for government to commit some resources to fund water and sanitation. But with regards to private sector, generally, this sort of sector is not a very viable sector in the sense that water is a basic need, and as a basic need, it's supposed to be affordable as well. And to try to make some of these facilities or some of these amenities affordable, it means for the most part, it's either it has to be significantly subsidized, particularly in infrastructure development like what we are doing here in Botswana, to ensure that every individual or every citizen from every corner of the country do have access to cheap and reliable clean water. On that note, Chair, I was hoping to see something where the financiers, like our African Development Bank, the World Banks of this world, and other facilities like Green Climate Funding, also being committed somehow, such that African states can be assisted to access some of these green climate funds to ensure that we come up with some of this infrastructure, particularly the sanitation infrastructure, which is generally not prioritized when we develop infrastructures, because generally we prioritize providing fresh water first, then sanitation comes second. Therefore, I think there is a room for some of these green climate funding facilities to come in to fill up some of these gaps where most of the governments cannot fill due to budgetary constraint. I thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. We really also appreciate this contribution that you brought here to the document. I would like now to leave the floor to Engineer Abdel, the representative of the Minister of Egypt.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes,
we can. Yes, we can.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear
Excellencies,
you.
Mr. Chair and dear colleagues. First, I would like to congratulate the organizers for the successful events, and I would like to convey His Excellency Minister Dr. Muhammad Abdul Ati, the Egyptian Water Minister. He's sending his greetings and the best wishes. He couldn't make it today because of prior commitments. At the same time, I would like to make use of this opportunity to iterate Egypt's commitment to reaching these goals and targets set out in the African Vision 2025 and EU Agenda 2063. We don't have any comments on the resolutions, and we fully endorse them. Guys, allow me to give you an overview on the Egypt's openness and readiness to the South cooperation with its sisters countries in the African continent, and we are fully ready to exchange the experiences with you. And in the context of building the climate resilience and integrating the water and climate agenda, I want to share with you that Egypt in the next year is hosting the COP27 next November 2022. And this would be the most convenient platform for the voices of the African people to be heard. And we welcome all the parties and all the country representatives to meet in the next year in Egypt to work on reaching fair and balanced outcomes to face the impacts of climate change and to help the African people to achieve the proper life. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer, for the invitation. I would like now to call Honorable Minister Oman Iba from Gambia. Your Excellency.
Good afternoon or good morning, depending on where we are. My name is Omar S.M. Jiba, the Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Fisheries and Water Resources. I am here on behalf of my Minister for Fisheries and Water Resources, the Honorable James F.P. Gomez, who is also out of jurisdiction, but has asked me to extend his warmest greetings and regards. On this note, I would inform the August gathering that the resolutions here presented are very clear and direct to the point. In the Gambia, our issue is inadequate coordination in the water and sanitation sector. There is a need to accelerate the water sector reform. And at this point, I am telling you that my ministry is taking up the lead in this progress or in this process. And therefore, we would solicit the support of both the technical and financial partners to enable us see our dreams through. Our government is very committed in this line. And thank you, the Honorable Representative of AMCAO President, for giving me the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for showing us that you are compromised with this subject. I would like now to call to take the floor, Honorable Amidou Issa from the Republic of Ghana.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening to all participants. Let me first of all state I'm the Deputy Minister for Water and Sanitation in Ghana. My minister is on an official assignment with the President and has asked me to sit in for her. And as I went through the resolutions and also presented by the Secretariat, I think that it answers our problems and challenges as far as issues of sanitation, water, and hygiene are concerned. When you look at resolution 10.3, which talks about finance and calling on governments and the private sector to significantly increase investment in climate resilient and inclusive water and sanitation infrastructure, I think that is where the issue is. That is where we need to pay attention to, because you sometimes have very nice resolutions and documentation or regulations, but when the funding is not there, it becomes difficult to ensure that your aims and objectives are achieved. And like I stated, going through the resolutions are so excellent, but we need to critically pay attention to resolution 10.3 and ensure that our governments actually increase funding to issues of sanitation, water, and hygiene. We also need to get more closer to our development partners and see how we can raise more funding to undertake these activities as contained in the resolutions. So on behalf of my minister, let me thank the Secretariat, Madam Chairperson, for putting this document together, all participants. I mean, we've done an excellent job, and I want to commend everybody, especially the Secretariat. So thank you very much for the opportunity for me to make a comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We would like to call now Dr. Isabel from Zambia. Dr. Isabel. Dr. Isabel. We have no Dr. Isabel here. I'd like to know if we can move to the motion adopt.
Honorable Minister and Vice President, I think someone from Cameroon, Tome, he was raising his hand. So if you can please ask him to speak.
Yes, please, you may speak. And I'm also receiving here a request for intervention from someone, Dr. Tom Njoji.
That's the man from Cameroon.
Please, you may take the floor. Yes, from Cameroon. Maybe your microphone is switched
Muted.
off.
Est-ce qu'il s'agit du représentant de la Côte d'Ivoire ou bien du Cameroun? Ah bon. Moi, je suis le représentant de la Côte d'Ivoire et je suis
Cameroon. Oh, I'm sorry. So you may take the floor. Have you requested for intervention?
Merci bien. Merci bien, Madame la Présidente. Au nom de Monsieur le ministre des Eaux et Forêts de Côte d'Ivoire, je voudrais saluer la haute assistante et vous dire ma joie de me retrouver à cette réunion. Alors, j'ai parcouru le travail qui a été fait et je voudrais remercier les auteurs de ce travail et aussi le secrétaire exécutif de l'AMCAO pour sa brillante présentation. Je voudrais également m'appesantir sur une doléance ou bien un souhait, si ce n'est pas déjà exprimé. Il s'agit de la mise en place d'un mécanisme panafricain de suivi de toutes ces résolutions, qui sont en elles-mêmes de très bonnes résolutions, afin d'encourager et d'aider les pays à mieux orienter les efforts d'amélioration dans les domaines où ils ont des faiblesses, en se basant sur l'appui des pays qui sont les plus avancés. Je pense que ça aiderait à planir beaucoup de choses, à savoir dans les domaines particuliers où ces pays ont des difficultés, comme l'assainissement, l'hygiène. On a parlé des financements, des mécanismes de financement. Ce n'est pas toujours facile au pays d'avoir des mécanismes de financement viables pour mettre en œuvre leur politique de développement de l'eau. Et donc, il serait important de pouvoir utiliser, disons, les leçons tirées des pays qui sont les plus avancés. C'était un peu ce que je voulais vous apporter comme ma contribution. Je vous remercie. Alors, je ne me suis pas présenté.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Oui, c'est le colonel-major Walou Kolou, je suis le directeur général des ressources en eau au ministère des Eaux et Forêts de la Côte d'Ivoire. Merci bien.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I would like now to invite Dr. Rashid from the Secretariat to answer the questions that have been raising during the interventions, and also to clarify other questions that appeared during this time. Dr. Rashid.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. The comments have been well received, and actually there isn't anything for us to respond to because they are comments made to enrich the document, and we've taken note of that, particularly the element on 11.3.1, where we are suggesting to include this text, that the original text reads, on finance, call on governments and the private sector to significantly increase investments in climate resilient and inclusive water and sanitation infrastructure. The continued support of the development banks and development partners will be a critical enabler. They call upon national governments to leverage climate funds to support national development strategies under the climate management systems. That will now constitute 11.3.2, and then 11.3. What was originally 11.3.2 will now become 11.3.3, which will be calling on governments to recommit to both the 2003 Pan-African commitment to allocate at least 5% of budgets for water and sanitation, and B, the Itequini commitments to establish public sector budget allocations of a minimum of 0.5% of GDP for sanitation and hygiene programs. That is the major modification that we've made to the document. There is a suggestion, there is a comment and suggestion to separate hygiene, water supply from hygiene and sanitation services provision. We request the honorable ministers and the plenary to adopt this under consideration. By the time this evening, we shall circulate a document in which section 12 on water supply and sanitation has been disaggregated to highlight the comment on separation of water supply, sanitation, and hygiene services. The element on establishing ministries dedicated to water and sanitation, we will also see how it can be accommodated within the framework of governance arrangements under subheading 11 on water governance. And I think this will be circulated this evening. Those were the the comments I felt we could react to in the spirit of assuring the members that they will be handled before the final communique is read to the rest of the community tomorrow morning, at the closing plenary tomorrow. But this will be circulated to the members of the council as soon as possible this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. With these clarifications from the Executive Secretary of the AMCO, I would like to invite the ministers and their representatives to adopt the Windhoek Multi-Stakeholder Declaration for accelerating water security and access to safely managed sanitation and hygiene in Africa. So I can hear silence.
Your Excellency, I wanted to draw your attention to the Republic of Zimbabwe. There is a hand raised by the Republic of Zimbabwe.
Oh, thank you. Republic of Zimbabwe, please.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I was literally responding to your call now, where I was going to input that subject to the minor amendments and inputs from the honorable ministers and or their representatives. Honorable Chair, I propose to move the motion to adopt the resolutions as are. Thank you very much. I submit, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I understood that you are agreeing with the resolution. Did I understand well?
Yes, Madam Chair, I am actually proposing that we adopt the resolutions. Thank you.
Thank you. So we may have another contribution. May we adopt the resolution? We have the support from Zimbabwe. And also I have a rising hand from Dr. Peter, please.
Madam Chair, we adopt the resolution with the comments that have been mentioned by respective ministers and representatives. I submit.
Thank you very much. In my country, the silence also means that we agree with the statement. So I will consider the silence of the honorable ministers and their representatives as they consent with this adoption. So Secretariat, we adopt as the ministers of the Africa Council of Water this resolution that you brought here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Thank you very much, members of the Governing Council. We take note of the fact that the resolutions have been adopted with some comments. As the Secretariat will work this afternoon to ensure that the comments are all captured in and the document is circulated to you for your review prior to the closing plenary tomorrow as we close the Africa Water and Sanitation Week. I'll now invite the moderator to give his remarks before inviting the Honorable Minister chairing to go to the next item on the agenda.
Thank you. After that, we have now the vote of thanks from me. I would like to thank you all for attending this this high-level session. Honorable ministers, representatives of ministers, the AMCO secretary, I'd like to thank you all for these achievements that we had today. And as I said when we were beginning, we would like that this resolution that we adopt today may be a form of provoking political action at the highest level. So we hope that with this resolution, we may change what needs to be changed. We may improve in what we need to improve so that the issue of water, sanitation, and hygiene may have other and better remarks in the next years. So I'd like to thank you all for your presence, and thank you to everyone. Thank you, the moderator.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, representing the AMCA President, a Minister for Public Works, Housing and Water, Republic of Mozambique, Honorable Cecilia Chamutota. Thank you for this impressive sharing of the high-level ministerial session for this Africa Water and Sanitation Week conference happening virtually. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody. Can all the ministers and their representatives please open up their video? Just open up your video so that we can take a group photograph to mark this momentous event. Please, at the Executive Secretary too, please open your videos, all the ministers and their representatives. Please open up your videos. You muted your videos before, but just open it up. We want to see your faces, your handsome and beautiful faces, faces of Africa.
Mr. Moderator, I had seen a post on Twitter that the Honorable Deputy Minister for the Republic of South Africa would be addressing this August House. Now that we have her here present, I pray that she can be accommodated to share what she had to say, albeit late in the agenda. Thank you very much. I pray with the indulgence of the Honorable Chair.
Well, with the indulgence of the Honorable Chair and Minister for representing the AMCA President, may I then invite the Deputy Minister for South Africa to please address this gathering, the Honorable Dikeledi Magazi.
Thank you very much, moderator, and greetings. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I need to profusely apologize. We were having some challenges with the network. But having said that, I just wanted to make an input on a few items which have already been adopted. And I know that probably those issues that have been adopted may not be changed, but I need to indicate that for me, what is at the center is, as we're dealing with issues of water, sanitation, and hygiene, at the center, we should be able to put women, youth, and people with disabilities so that we can be able to, as we're dealing with economic issues, social issues, we're taking this critical group into consideration, because we cannot restructure, revitalize our economy if those ones are left behind. But the other thing that I want to indicate is that sanitation and hygiene are very important. And therefore, it is important that we are able to separate sanitation from hygiene, but also look into drinkable and drinking water as a separate entity, that we can be able to say water, sanitation, hygiene, drinkable water, sanitation, and hygiene are different issues that as a people in Africa. We need to talk to those issues. But for me, what becomes very important as a woman, I wanted to just say important in this agenda is that we should be able to take cognizance of the fact that women, children, youth, and people with disabilities should always be at the center of everything that we're doing in water and sanitation. And moderator, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to just say this bit. And I believe that this conference will be able to take issues forward. And as Africa, I believe we are up to the task. I thank you, moderator.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I would invite the Executive Secretary to just make a few comments on your contribution.
Honorable Minister, your voice has been heard loud and clear. We are at the service of the member states, and it's your voice that we need to take to our principals, the heads of state and government of the African Union. Or as the chair has put it, our role here is to capture the voices and set the agenda for what we are going to do. Come the summit, what the heads of state, we want the heads of state to commit to at the summit in March 2022. It would be amiss of us as the Secretariat not to capture that clear message that is coming through from the member states. As part of the amendments that we are going to do, we will ensure that this is captured, and the document that will be circulated this evening should reflect that to the best of our abilities. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, and back to you, moderator and the chair.
With the kind permission of the chair again, may I ask all the ministers and their representatives to please open up their video so we can capture this for the record. Please open up your video. Yeah, the Minister for South Africa with yes. Please open up your videos, everybody. Do we have that? Please do let me know once you have captured that. Our IT experts, have you captured that?
Yes, done, thank you.
I believe so. I believe so. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for attending this high-level ministerial session. Let's thank especially our chair for this session, the Honorable Cecilia Chamo-Tota, Minister for Public Works, Housing and Water, who also doubles as the Vice President for AMCAL for the Southern African region, and representing today the Honorable Carl Gustav Shiweletin, Minister for Water, Agriculture and Land Reforms for Namibia, the host of this conference for the Africa Water and Sanitation Week Conference 2021. Having said that, I'd like to welcome you all to tomorrow as we begin to round off this conference, starting at about 11 in the morning Nigerian time, when we'll be doing the wrap-up sessions for the various sub-teams that we captured under the Africa Water and Sanitation Week Conference. And then later in the afternoon, when we'll be doing the closing plenary. Honorable ministers, your excellencies and ministers representatives, thank you so much for being part of this great event. My name is Oseloka Zikora.
Vamos falar de alguma coisa que vai acontecer amanhã.
Chair? Okay. Now, thank you and goodbye. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you and bye.
Merci, au revoir.